This is a pretty cool wee tune for acoustic guitar, sounds great. It's only 4 parts, it's not as complicated as it first sounds, but it does take a bit of practice just to get the picking right and some of the pull-offs as well. I've included tab and music notation for those of you that read it. Bit of a different one because it's in 6/8 time rather than the usual 4/4. But also the second bar is in 7/8 time. So the intro goes 6/8, 7/8, 6/8, 7/8, which is a little bit different, but don't worry about it because it all makes sense. So let's zoom in and we'll show you the first part. So bar 1 is just the A minor to an E minor. But notice in the tab there's a dot above that first pluck. And what that means is cut it short, don't let it ring out. So instead of what we're actually getting is, and the pull off, instead of just a straight, we're not pulling the whole chord off at once like that. We're actually going to peel it off, so almost like a string at a time comes off, and it gives that a really nice little effect. So this is bar 2, so this is the piece that's 7/8. So the 6/8 count was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, and then the next bar is an F to a C, and this is the part that's at 7/8 long. And what I'm doing here is standard F chord, plucking from the 4th string with the thumb and hitting the G, B and high E strings with my first, middle and ring finger. And then we're going to walk down that D string. But instead of bringing that down like this from the 3rd finger, the ring finger, down to the 2nd fret, what I'm actually going to do is take the ring finger off, and I'm going to move my 2nd finger across to the D string, that E note there. Take it off. This is staying on all the time. And when I come across to the A string to hit that C note, 3rd fret on the A string, I'm swapping over my plucking fingers. I'm now going to the D, G and B string as I walk down that, so that from the C to the B, and then we're back to the E. Now, going back to that first bar, anytime I've got a bass note on the A string, I'm going to pluck the D, B, D, G and B strings. And anytime I've got a bass note on pretty much any other string, you know, the E string or the D string, I'm going to be plucking the G, B and high E strings along with it. When we come to that E minor, you can see in the tab that I'm not actually playing any of the strings that I'm holding down. So why am I holding them down? Because I could just... A couple of reasons for doing it. One, it's good practice for your chords to keep them going, but 2, it actually kills that A minor from ringing out. See, it would still be ringing if I don't do that, whereas by moving that across, I stop the A minor note from ringing, stop the A minor chord from ringing out. it's worth practicing that for a while on its own. So part 2, which is the transition from the intro into the verse, starts off the same. So we have the exact same move for the first bar of it, from A minor to E minor, and then we go to a G, and then over to an F, and then we just let that hang there. We do a walk down on the F, and same as we did the last time, I'm moving the second finger from that A note on the G string, second fret on the G string, over to an E note, which is the second fret on the D string. So I end up with an open G in there. So have a look at the right hand, see what the right hand's doing there. We're just letting that D note ring out there, just for a moment. Then we come into the verse part, so this is part 3. And we go to a D minor. So we come from going to go D minor to C, and this just repeats. But the second time round, instead of plucking that C twice like that, we do this little pull off. This is the only time that the thumb actually plucks at the same time as the chord, otherwise the rest of the song is all alternating, but here we do 2 together. So and again, when I'm pulling off on that D minor, I'm doing that same peel, so it's like pull off in order almost. So that's your verse part. Again, that just repeats all the way through the first and second verses. Then it does the intro again, the intro part again as a bridge. Goes back into transition, and then back into the verse. For the third verse, it stays on that same verse section, part 3, all the way through the solo. So when we come out of the solo, we can go into the outro part, which is very similar to the transition, but it flips the F and the G. So and that's pretty much the whole song. apart from the solo, which we'll get into just now. I'm going to start with 9 pull-offs from the 10th fret on the G string to the 9th fret on the G string, then we're going to slide it up to the 12th fret on the G string. So then we're going to go back to that 10th fret on the G, do another 7 pull-offs to the 9th there. To the 12th fret on the D string, down to the 10th fret of the D string, 12th fret on the A string, 10th fret on the A string. So we get give that a wee bit of vibrato. And then over to the high E string. We're going to go 10, 8 on the high E, do it as a pull off, do the same on the B string, 10 to 8, and then play 10 to 9 on the G. We do that twice. And then we've got this funny little run here, which is hammer on from the 9th to the 10th on the D, do the same on the G, over to the B on the 8th, back to the 10th on the G, back to the 9th on the G, back to the 10th on the D, and then do a hammer on again from the 9th to the 10th on the G, back to the 8th on the B, and then 10 to 9 on the G, and then 10 to 8 on the high E to finish. A little tricky bit that you can get your fingers sort of in a knot, so I tend to play it with my second finger to do those 2 hammer-ons, so that my first finger's free to hit onto that B string. And then I can use my pinky on the high E string and bring that first finger back to finish. And that's the whole tune. So have fun with it. Take your time over it, practice it slowly build your speed up, and you'll get it, I'm sure.